Back in 2014, I became a Destiny superfan. Although the game being released as it was for the first few months were rough for players like me, it's developed into an enormous part of my life. It was a crazy roller coaster of being pleasantly surprised and aggravatingly disappointed. That's because some DLCs and story beats went so well, or they bombed spectacularly. I mean, what do you expect from a game that's been out for 10 years? Not everything's going to be a hit, right? So, yes, throughout the years, I've become more of one of those Destiny players that loves to hate the game sometimes. I complain, I promise myself I won't play again, and I still find myself coming back for more punishment. I'm going to be honest though, the gameplay has been and still is amazing. What flops the most for me is the lack of content sometimes, or the story just didn't resonate for me. This is a problem for the hardcore base most times because you play the game so much, you know how to play the game so well. Eventually, the content dries up for you quicker than casual players, and of course, you want more. So for me, I'm obsessed with the lore and story of Destiny more than the gameplay itself. It's a crazy sci-fi story with space magic, space dragons, ancient aliens, powerful godlike entities, and war for just a few examples. When Lifeful came out, I was expecting most, if not all, questions to be answered so that when we dive into the final shape, we had more motivation for defeating the main enemy called the Witness than just having end of the universe stakes. That's what it turned out to be, with even more questions and no answers. Bungie had to play damage control and add more missions and dialogue just to ease the tension between players' frustrations on the story content. The final shape, by the way, is the final DLC for Bungie's current story arc in Destiny. If you go back to my reviews of that DLC last year, you'll read that I still enjoyed the gameplay, but the story was infuriatingly lazily written. Of course, I still continued to play season after season, met with disappointment on that particular DLC. I'm going to be honest and tell you that I had finally kicked the Destiny 2 habit. It's been 9 months since I even touched the game. I've really missed the feeling I had when experiencing the great content, but with the Bungie controversy that involved Sony and layoffs, I honestly had enough. The game does well not to shove microtransactions at the player, but it has, however, turned into one of those games that relies heavily on players buying them. Admittingly, this had been something I chose to ignore as a fan, but the fact that layoffs still happened after Bungie making millions off of microtransactions hurt. Not to mention, as prices and content went up, quality of gameplay and story went down. I can play the blame game if I want, whether it be Sony, Bungie, outside sources, call them greedy, I don't care. I think every aspect had a part to play in affecting the game, and that's not what this video is about. But anyway, that's my reason for not playing for so long, as much as I wanted to. It was almost like a drug, and I was craving to get back on it. So now, after quite a few months, Bungie has shown new season content that will last up until the final shape, as well as the final shape content. I, of course, was wowed once again by their presentation and wanted to jump back in. I thought with so much time passing, it would be a good time to jump in with the content waiting for me to devour. So, this is what we're here for. My take on jumping in with fresh eyes again on the current state of Destiny 2. So, what did Bungie say that had me coming back? They added a new season in between the seasons they're on now and the final shape. This was because the DLC was delayed almost 6 months with no other content to really fill the void. So Bungie worked hard to do that for the players. Bungie had implemented a few other quality of life changes like an LFG menu to put together groups for raids, dungeons, PvP, whatever you want. They also allow you to manage your vault inventory from orbit now, so no more flying to the tower if you want to avoid another load screen. When I jumped in, I was really surprised there still wasn't a jump in light level and only one real new piece of content to work on, which is called Onslaught, Bungie's solution to Horde mode. The way Bungie framed this mode, I really thought it was going to keep me busy. Unfortunately, I completed the normal mode pretty easily. Their harder mode is definitely more of a challenge, making you be more conscientious of your build and put together an experienced fire team to get through the 50 waves, but is that enough? Well, it definitely brought me back online to try. I had fun with the time that I spent. There are some weapon rolls I can chase after, and definitely chase after the coveted super black shader, but there's not much else to improve my character build. Just some stuff to tweak and make them look cool. They're releasing another mode soon, which is kind of a boss rush mode called Pantheon, which I'm excited to try. I'm wondering if this is a good way to practice raid bosses without having to actually jump into the raids themselves. We'll see. I think, though, during my time playing, I've learned something that I've actually should have learned a long time ago. It's okay to play for a bit, leave it alone, and come back after some time has passed. I feel so many get stuck on that FOMO train and want to have the best things the game has to offer when others do as well, but they actually forget to actually have fun in the game. I did, and I'm good with leaving it now. Maybe I'll jump back in every few days or weeks. I have until June to really dig in deep on the final shape, which, by the way, I will be reviewing. So, what does this mean now for the future of a game that is now purposely designed to be broken so players can have more fun? I don't really know. I'm not a game designer. I do know that I can jump back into Destiny, consume its content, and be content with putting it down for months. It'll still be there. My only concern is, are they going to drop the ball with the story? Or will it be as epic as it was before? Will it have an epic ending? But I think now that's kind of the kind of players Bungie wants. Maybe not Sony, but Bungie has always said it's okay to play other games. This is especially true when you've already went through every bit of content. I'm excited to play Destiny 2 with a newfound perspective after they revealed the final shape gameplay. They have a new subclass that allows you to combine traits from all your other subclasses. They're literally breaking the game for players to have more fun. This is along with like new modes, a new enemy race. It's gonna be fun. It looks good. So I also have thoughts on whether Destiny 2 should continue after the final shape. I really don't think it should. With this Light and Darkness saga closing, they should really complete the year with a bang and take a break for a few years while supporting what they have so far in D2 and start fresh with Destiny 3. They can have some cleaner code, upgrade engines, gameplay, take a little less data from taking over your hard drive, and all that older content that players don't really play anymore is taking that stuff up. D3 is not just fresh for gamers, but for Bungie as well. Make it easier on everyone else and begin anew. Bungie, I know throughout the years you've dealt with HR issues, you've dealt with Microsoft, you've dealt with Activision, now you're dealing with Sony. It's been a rough ride so far, but I do appreciate the content that you've been giving out. I appreciate the passion that you guys give for the game that keeps on giving, as much as I can hate it sometimes. I know I'll still be there playing your game as long as you just keep making it. Thank you.